Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. I am Ashley and I blog at theruralcompanion.com. Today I'm working on a series, wrapping that series up actually, and it is called Soaking, Sprouting, and Fermenting. I will link that up in the cards above as well as in the show notes below. So over the past few weeks, we have been taking products that I have gotten from my Azure Standard monthly order, and I've showed you how I use them in my kitchen. So we've sprouted beans that I buy in bulk, we have soaked oats, and today we are going to be fermenting vegetables, specifically cabbage. Now, this recipe is not really anything new. You've probably seen or heard of this before, but I did want to show you exactly how I do it in my kitchen, as well as what it looks like when I buy cabbage from Azure Standard. Now, first of all, it comes in a plastic bag, and it has your label on it. It tells you what you have, and when I order, I select a approximate 3-pound size. The great thing about Azure Standard, there are many, but this is one of them. The great thing is they write the exact weight on the package. So not only are you paying for only what you get, but you can know exact amounts. So if you wanted to take the fermenting to an exact science, you have the exact weight of your cabbage if you don't have a scale at home. Now, what we're going to do is start by taking out our cabbage from the package. Because it's organic, I'm just going to be peeling off the outer layers. I'm not going to be washing or anything like that. So let me get started. Okay, so the last time I got cabbages from Azure, and I normally just get one in every order, it was just a one head, and then these are kind of small, so I've gotten two. I'm currently growing some cabbage in the garden, but nothing's ready to be used yet. Our family also doesn't go through fermented cabbage or sauerkraut too frequently, so 1 3-pound cabbage or 2 lasts our family for at least a month. First, I'm going to peel off the outer several layers, and then I'm going to cut out the core of the cabbage. Then I'm going to run the cabbage in my food processor to make it nice and finely chopped. You might want to play around with how you like your texture of your cabbage. When we first started, I would slice it into, I guess, longer strands. I didn't actually care for that, although my kids said they thought that was more enjoyable. I prefer the tinier chopped bits of cabbage in my sauerkraut because I feel like it mixes in better with foods that I'm serving alongside. I'll show you what it looks like as we go along, and then you can make your own decision on what is best in your household. Now, if you've noticed, I have 2 piles off to the side. One is all of our cabbage leaves that we will be saving and using to pack our sauerkraut into our jar. The other tidbits are the cores and the brown spots, and I'll either give those to the chickens, which I'll most likely do, or pop those in the compost bin. So now I'm going to put them into my food processor. I've chopped them into 8s, and that will allow them to fit a little bit easier in there. I don't put too many into the food processor at once, or else you have some that turns into like a puree, and then you have some bigger pieces. So I stick with small amounts, pulse, and then I'll dump that into my bowl. I'm gonna do that multiple times and speed this up so that way you guys can see me in a couple seconds. Friends, without even speeding the video up, this went so fast, like in real life. It just took, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes to process all of our cabbage into fine little bits. Again, if you like it larger, go ahead and just chop it with a knife, but this is actually faster to run it through your food processor. Next, we're gonna need our tablespoon. Let me wipe my hands real quick. Okay, we're gonna need 2 tablespoons of real sea salt, or 1 tablespoon of sea salt and a 1/4 cup of already made sauerkraut liquid. Now, here's a jar that we're just about finished of sauerkraut. There is really not that much liquid in here because we take a little bit out as we serve it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do 2 tablespoons of sea salt. Now, maybe I sound like a broken record, sorry, but I also bought our sea salt from Azure Standard. It is just regular sea salt. There is nothing added into it, and I would urge you to check your salt because there are a lot of things in your table salt that is not necessary for your body. So we'll take our tablespoon of salt and sprinkle it. Now, if you're doing that 2nd tablespoon, this would be the time to do it. And then if you're using your sauerkraut liquid, you can go ahead and add that in. Okay, so now comes the really messy part. You're just gonna go ahead and massage gently all of the salt and the cabbage together. I am going to show you that, but again, I'm going to fast forward this, and I'll probably have to stop and wash my hands when I'm finished because it's just messy. The reason that for cabbage anyway, that you can get away with just using salt is because the cabbage will release liquid or the cabbage juice from the leaves as you are massaging the salt into it. Some other vegetables are not so easy to bring out the liquid, so you could just make your saltwater brine, and that would be the same ratio of salt to water, 1 quart of water to fill up your quart jar. Okay, let's get messy. Okay, once your cabbage gives off a really good amount of liquid, and I'll show you, it just drips off, then it's ready to get put into your jars. So before I wash my hands, I'm actually gonna stuff the cabbage into my jar, and then I will clean up and I will show you the next part of this. Okay, so I've gotten my quart jar stuffed full of our cabbage mixture. As you can tell, there are a few spots that are not fully packed down, and this you can either continue to pack down with your hand, you could use the bottom of a wooden spoon. I'm not too concerned about it, but if you would like to, I guess, get more in there, then you might want to keep packing down. At this point, you can tell that the cabbage has created its own liquid, but if for some reason it did not, go ahead and top it off with a little unchlorinated filtered water. Once you've done that, then you're going to take your cabbage leaves and fold them in on themselves so that they fit in your jar, and you're going to continue to pack these down so that the liquid comes above your cabbage leaves and the rest of your chopped up cabbage goes down under the liquid. I think, as I'm finding with all older or traditional recipes, going slow and at just a very steady pace instead of rushing like our modern world actually is best. So you do really want to gently, slowly work your cabbage leaf in, or else you'll end up with liquid everywhere. I think we are good. I don't know, I may do one more. Let me see. Yes, I think that was the ticket. Well, 2 cabbage leaves. So I'm going to clean off the rim just because we don't really need all of this excess cabbage on here. And then we are going to cover this with either a metal lid with screw top band or just one of the reusable plastic white lids. If you happen to have the proper fermentation weights and or the lid with the bubble, you can add that on at this time, but those are not necessary to ferment your cabbage. And then I will leave this in a undisturbed corner of my kitchen, preferably one that's not too close to heat or too cool. You kind of want a good room temperature spot, as well as you want to put something under your jar, because as the fermentation process takes place, the bubbles will push liquid out. With that, you will want to keep an eye on your liquid level. If for some reason it drops too low, you'll want to add more liquid. I will be showing you over the next couple days what this looks like and what the final result of the sauerkraut looks like. Well, that might postpone this video for a really long time. So I actually am not gonna do that. I will take a video over the next couple days until I'm ready to post this video. This is what your final cabbage is going to look like, or your sauerkraut. It's going to be a much more yellow color, and let's see if I can pull some out for you. So if you can tell the color difference, our cabbage currently is really green, and when it's finished, it's going to be a yellow color. So another thing you want to keep in mind is if you should develop any mold on top of your sauerkraut. White mold you can just remove, but anything else should be fully discarded. If you smell anything funky, then it shouldn't be used and should also be discarded. I currently still cannot smell or taste, and so I have been having the kiddos just check on our ferments every couple days to make sure that they are safe, as well as to make sure that they don't get too tangy. We like about the 10 to 14 day mark. Some people go longer, some less, so you'll just want to play around with it, taste it, and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have learned how to soak, sprout, and ferment things in your kitchen. If you have any questions, make sure you put that in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you how you get fermented foods into your diet. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.